man. Welcome back to Alter Life Podcast, man. This is episode 11. We were talking about Breonna Taylor and recruiting for HBCU sports, particularly Deion Sanders. To my left, I have Nick. Just tell us something briefly about yourself, Nick, like background.
Nick Townsend, attended Auburn University here in Montgomery. Currently attending Auburn University, the main campus, working on my PhD. 19 years in the game as far as education. High school principal at D. Calhoun High School. And yeah, that's about it.
Man, that's dope. I ain't know you was getting your PhD, man.
Yeah, man, trying to close it on out.
That's strong for a black man, man.
Oh, yeah.
That's strong for a black man. Well, I did not know that. That's strong, though.
Yeah, that's strong.
To my right here, man, I have Mr. Britton Harvest. Your favorite speaker. Cuz, man, give us a brief background about yourself, man.
I am Britton Harvest. I am your favorite speaker. Professional speaker by trade. Finance manager as well. Investor. So, just got my website up, BrittonHarvest.com. That's pretty much it, man. Just love giving back. Love making sure putting smiles on people's faces. That's what it's all about, right? Motivation.
That's dope, man. You do that. Can't say that about you, man. So we're gonna dive on in, man. The first question, man, is for both of you guys, man. Tell us about a situation or an event that altered your life.
Event that altered my life, it's quite a few of them, but one in particular that jumps out at me is when I joined the military. I was in the Air Force for several years, and I remember going off to basic training, man, and that's really my first time being around a lot of different nationalities. You know, growing up on West Side Montgomery, you know, you never passed Montgomery Mall for real. So, growing up at Carver Park, you know, attending Carver High School, that's all I saw was black folks and a couple of speckles of white folks that attended Carver. But outside of that, you know, Mom cooked all the time, so we didn't go out to eat. So all those new experiences for me, just experiencing different cultures and how people do things different.
Yeah, man, that's dope.
That's what's up.
You got a chance to be around different people and
learn
about them, about what they do.
Right.
And
Right.
you can adopt some of it to your lifestyle too, man.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, man, that's dope.
Quick plug. He said something that's very important. Hey, Carver, hi.
That's right.
Now that ain't what we feel. A lot of things we gonna do on here. We gonna laugh, we gonna joke, we have a good time. Two things we ain't gonna do. We gonna talk about no slow football. We're not gonna talk about fab anything. Okay? That ain't what we gonna do on here now.
Oh, man.
So the question goes to you, Mr. Harvest. Tell us about a situation or an event that altered your life.
First and foremost, the first event that really altered my life was moving to Atlanta. I'm kind of going to piggyback on my business partner, and that is being around different cultures and being away from the nest. It enables you to just figure out everything you need to know about life, because when you're living around your parents, you got that safety net, and with that safety net, you don't really get a chance to see what your full potential is. So when you get away from that safety net, man, and you really figure things out, you get some bumps and bruises, you realize that every time you fall, you're able to get back up and dust yourself off. You know, so that was the first event that really, really changed my life, because it really opened my eyes to see what life is like outside of Montgomery, Alabama.
Gotcha.
And the second thing that really altered my life in a major way was being homeless in Miami Beach, Florida. You know, I was pursuing my acting and modeling career at the time, and I said to myself, no matter what, I was going to keep pressing forward until I was able to succeed. So if that meant me sleeping in my car on the beach, getting up every morning with the other bums, taking a shower on the sprinklers that they use to wash the sand off, I said that's what I wanted to do. So my parents, my dad, he kept wanting me to come back home, my mom, my sisters, but I would always tell them this is what I want to do. You know, so it was a choice that I made, and to this day, that really changed my life for the better. So those are the two major things.
Tough time don't last, man. Tough people do.
Yeah, that's
It's all
it.
about perseverance, man. It's all about perseverance, man. That's what kind of why I chose the name, man, Alter Life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I was going to ask you, why did you choose that name?
Because, you know, I'm pretty sure everybody's life has been altered in some shape, form, or fashion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, mine has been altered several different ways. You know, like I talked about in the first episode, losing Beanhead was first for me.
Okay.
That was my first one.
Tell everybody who's being here. The people that don't
He's
know.
he's my little cousin. He's our little cousin.
Okay.
And a guy was playing with a shotgun and accidentally shot him in the head. And I was 9 and he was 7. Like, you didn't see him if you didn't see me. If you didn't see him, you didn't, you know, vice versa. And that like took a toll on me, like mentally, actually physically also, because man, I was sick the entire week. From as soon as I got the news,
Mm-hmm.
I threw up
Man.
right then, and I was sick the entire week till he was buried. That's when, you know, my mom tells that story a lot. And my second one, man, when I went to prison.
Mm-hmm.
So those two major events like altered my life, and like I said, man, everybody's life has been altered in
Right.
some shape, form, or fashion. Whether it's death, whether it's going to military, whether it's you pursuing your career and you got to, you know, sleep in your car. Like many actors are models that have the same story as you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So everybody have something that, you know, accidents,
Right.
you know, like I said, death in the family. I mean, anything, man, that alters your life. So that's why I pretty much chose Alter Life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and started a clothing line for it also. And I think, I mean, like I said, man, everybody can pretty much say that their life has been altered in some shape, form,
Yeah.
or fashion.
Yeah.
And I think this is something that, you know, everybody can pretty much say they did. So,
I don't know.
Question number 2. What are your thoughts about Jackson State University's decision to hire Deion Sanders as their new head football coach?
The movement, baby, it starts. It starts. Anybody who knows me or follows me on Facebook know how pro-black I am. Again, it doesn't mean that I hate other cultures, but that means that I'm going to support and empower, you know, our culture, and having an icon like Deion Sanders to go to an HBCU is historic. It's a start of a movement. You know, even my own kids, they'll tell you how much I preach to them about being pro-black. And my oldest daughter, with her attending Clark Atlanta, and you know, with her entrepreneur mindset, for her to see something like that, then for these young black kids to see, you know, hey, you can go to an HBCU and still make it on the NFL or NBA level without that. Right now, without that notoriety as far as television time. But Deion Sanders, that's what he's going to bring to the forefront. Because, you know, all those Jackson State games are about to be televised now.
They're going to be on every black network.
They're going to be on every network, baby. So hopefully that's going to spread. And, you know, I liken this to kind of like the kid that I have at my school, J.D. Davison. You know, he's going to a little small 2A school in the country. But everybody knows him. So Deion Sanders is going to offer the same thing to HBCUs.
Yeah,
True.
yeah, I agree totally with that. Totally. I grew up following HBCUs because my brother was Corey Harvest. He was a
All-American.
All-American over there at Alabama State University, man. So I remember going to the games. I remember sitting there watching them and just in awe at the experience that HBCUs give you. You know, it's like you can watch them on TV, but it's nothing like actually being there, because on a HBCU campus, when you go to a game, the tailgate is just as much fun as the actual game, and everybody knows the tailgate is where it is. So
Yes, sir.
I went to Jackson State one time, and this was with my brother, who Rodney Wilkinson was attending Jackson State University, and I went down there for homecoming. And when he invited me down there, I said to myself, OMG. I said, I didn't know anything about Jackson, Mississippi. Got in the car and went. And I can tell you it was no different than being at Alabama State or any other black campus around the world. They gets it in. You know, so with Dion being a huge face and a huge personality, and him having the notoriety that he has garnered himself respectfully over the years, I think that's nothing but pluses, man, all across the board for not just the University of Jackson State, but the city and the state of Mississippi. So
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm an HBCU grad. I went to Stillman College in Tuscaloosa. And like you said, cuz it's nothing like that. I mean, I've been to Alabama and LSU game. I've been to Alabama Auburn game. I've been to Alabama Mississippi State game. Man, but that HBCU, listen, it's like you're in a closed corridor.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the people own you.
Yeah.
During those games, like homecoming, man, my best experience, man, was playing Fort Valley State for their homecoming.
Okay.
And they play mind games with you because where you get dressed at, it's like 2 football fields away from their field.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's 2 football. It's like 2 football fields away from their field. That's where you get dressed at.
Right.
Okay.
And you have to walk through their crowd.
All right.
They got you roped off.
Yeah.
And you got to walk within this rope. Just think about it. You're around thousands and thousands of black people.
Exactly.
You got the grills going.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You got the music going.
And not like that food,
Right.
man. And
Listen.
not like that food.
They drinking. And you know us, what we do. We gonna talk that talk.
Yeah.
Listen, when you walking through the crowd, man, the people talking at you, man, they pouring beer on you, man. I'm talking like they at you.
Right.
Before you can get to
This
the
before-
field.
Yeah, this before the game.
You know, like before football games, like your last 10, 15 minutes, you go back to the locker room.
Yeah.
Your coach gives the final speech before you go out. And you walking through these people, man, you're not thinking about no games.
Yeah.
Young men,
Young men.
you got these women out there,
Oh, the women.
they got anything on.
That's
The
right.
women is.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
These are beautiful sisters, man. You looking at
Beautiful.
like,
Right.
woo, look at her.
Right.
You're not thinking about this game.
Yeah. That
Man,
makes
let me tell you something. We went out there for beat us 43-6. You hear me? Bro, we wasn't talking about no game. We on the sideline like, well, look at well, look at that. Man, we getting the domes beat off and stuff. But man, when you walking through that crowd, man, and they talk, man, I'm talking about, if I can suggest anything, Fort Valley State football, homecoming, to anybody, I would suggest it.
There it is.
Man, that HBCU experience, man, I tell my kids about it, man. I love it. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't trade it for the world. I really wouldn't.
Most definitely.
You know.
Before I went to the military, I was a rapper. I was at FAMU.
Oh.
So when you talk about that HBCU experience, and there's nothing like it, I see that as nothing but another major marketing tool for Deion Sanders. Because you bring these young kids over to visit the campus and you showing them the lifestyle and they getting a taste of that band and they seeing that student campus lifestyle and they seeing the fraternities and sororities and they catch a party here and there and go to a different game. On top of Deion, can't lose.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and we talk about, me and a couple of my friends talked last night, and we talking about how he's on ESPN all the time.
Mm-hmm.
How he's visible on Twitter. How he's visible on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
This is what these young men love. And
Exactly.
this is what they're on.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Then you got somebody, like you said, he's an icon.
Mm-hmm.
So you know he's going to attract
Right.
all of this different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay, you got Under Armour has given him $1.5 million to upgrade facilities. He's already had meetings with the people in the community to give back
Right.
to Jackson State so they can upgrade their facilities.
Mm-hmm.
So the upper echelon schools can't say, don't go there because our facilities are better.
Right.
So they're trying to level the playing field.
Exactly.
Then I saw on Twitter, Last Chance U, the TV show, they hit Dion up, offering to have Last Chance U come to Jackson State.
Come to Jackson State.
That's another tool.
That's huge.
That's huge.
Like everybody else, you know, they don't know. The people not reaching out. I mean, you have to reach out to these people.
Mm-hmm.
They reaching out to him because they know what he's doing. It's about to be historical.
Yes.
Right.
And they want to be the first ones a part of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And that's what he's going to bring to Jackson State, the swag.
Mm-hmm.
You know, get the MEAC on. Man, what he's about to do, and I tell everybody, what he's about to do, it's gonna be something that's really later on down the line, we'll be able to look back and be like, that's what started it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that is what started it.
The PWI is gonna have to, predominantly white institutions, they're gonna have to really rethink their game plan when Dion sets his plan off into motion. They're gonna have to rethink recruiting. They're gonna have to rethink everything, especially if the other HBCUs, which I'm hoping they do, go out and start pulling in some of these big names.
And that's the thing that I'm hesitant about, that I have questions about.
Mm-hmm.
Will we go and if Dion does something and he's successful with it, will we go out and say, I'm gonna do the exact same thing that he did?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of saying, I'm not gonna do what he did, I wanna do it my way. You have been doing it your way,
right,
and it haven't been working.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got somebody doing it the modern day way because he know how to get into kids'
right,
heads, talk to kids, and how to say things to kids.
right.
He's on Sports Center last week, telling parents, "Hey ma'am, I'm coming into your house. I want you to cook some collard greens for me."
That's him.
You know, I want you to cook collard greens for me.
Right.
He's gonna bring that laughing, where you're not tensed,
right,
Yeah.
or worried about do you really have the best interest of my child?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
He's gonna parents gonna be real laid back with him, comfortable, where they're able to. All right, here's my son. I'm gonna turn you over to my son.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're gonna make him a better man.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but with what he's doing, man, I don't like I said, I'm hesitant that I have questions that other HBCUs will follow the same thing because they're so used to doing things their own way.
Well, let's not forget about Alabama State and them hiring Mo Williams as
basketball coach.
So I think it's really making a turn for the better, you know. And I think this is just another avenue to show everybody that hey, HBCUs are no different than any other college that you go to. So you can support your own, and you can get to those next levels by supporting your own. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Right.
I think we're in a fine time right now. You know, a lot of people complain about 2020 and the things that are going on. But I feel like 2020 has made us hit the reset button, and I think that's exactly what we're doing. You know, you got to take a couple of steps back in order to go forward. So
That's huge that you say the reset button because, you know, the NFL and NBA and Major League Baseball, none of those things would be where they are today if they didn't invade the Negro leagues.
there you go.
And
There
take
you go.
all of our talent.
That's a nice point. Nice point. A lot of people don't realize that.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly.
And speaking of recruiting, do y'all think Prime will be able to recruit or flip 5-star talent to Jackson State?
Let me take this one first because this one hits kind of home for me. Dion is the reason why I started watching Florida State University. A lot of people started watching Florida State because of Bobby Bowden, but I started watching Florida State because of Dion, prime time.
That's right.
Man, listen, to see that guy play and to see how flamboyant he was, but not only was he flamboyant, he backed up every single thing he said. He was a big mouth, and that's what people don't realize. They look at the fact that he had a lot to say and want to label him as just simply that. Dion went on the field and he backed it up.
Right.
He showed and proved. And when you go out on the field and you produce, if you want me to stop talking, then stop me.
Set me up.
Just-
That's as simple as that. So
Set me up.
that's why I say, man, as far as recruiting is concerned, people want to go where there's publicity. They want to go where there's notoriety. They want to go where there's some kind of publicity and pub, and that's exactly what he brings. So as far as I'm concerned, man, it's gonna be crazy, to say the least.
Yeah. No, he's already flipped one recruit from Mississippi State. He has the #1 quarterback in New York State that has committed to Jackson State. So I think it's just a start. I think, yeah, he's going to be able to get that 5-star talent.
I think so too, man.
Yeah.
I think a lot of, I think personally, I think he's gonna get a lot of D1 transfers first,
Mm-hmm.
his first year,
Yeah.
to, play this upcoming season.
Yeah.
And from that, he's gonna be able to build.
Right.
I think a big get for him would be his son, to me, personally,
Why you say that?
because he's a trigger man. Trigger man in HBCU sports or any sport, football related, you have to have a tail spinner. I tell people that it's two different ones. One on offense is your quarterback. One on defense is your middle, your Mike linebacker.
Okay.
They have to be your
Yeah.
tail spinners.
I'm following you now. Yeah.
They have to be your tail spinners. And I tell people, if you're gonna be good, you got to be good up the middle.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have a great D lineman, a great linebacker. You got to have somebody on that back end.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? It's funny you say that because that brings it back home to leadership, and I think that's exactly what you're saying. You got to have leaders on the team that can galvanize the troops and lead them in one direction, because everybody wants to go 5 or 6 different directions when we are most powerful and we're most successful when everybody going in the same way. So
Exactly.
you're right. You're right.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense, man.
You have to have that leader, man,
Mm-hmm.
that everybody's willing to follow, without question.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to have that unquestionable leader. Hey, this is what we're going to do, and everybody, oh man, he said it. Let's get it done.
Good.
Yes,
That's
sir.
it.
And we're going to knock this wall down.
There it is.
You know what I mean? And that's the way it is in sports, man. Like, if you don't have that, without leadership, and I think, to me, that's a lot that's going on with Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
They have a leadership culture problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Florida State with Dion and them, they have so many dogs. That's what he called them.
Yeah.
I need dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
When it's time to go hunt, it's time to go hunt.
I need some dogs.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
But if you have a leadership culture problem, it's just like having a bad foundation.
It is. It is.
It's gonna crumble.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I think that's big for what he's trying to do. And I know him personally, but like I tell people, players reflect the coach.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a laid back passive coach, your team gonna be laid back and
Yeah.
passive.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You have a soft coach, your team gonna be soft.
Well,
If you have a hard nosed coach, your team gonna be hard nosed.
That's right.
If he's disciplined, your team gonna be disciplined.
That's right.
you're right. That's basically like a quote I remember hearing about, and I remember to this day it's like I'll never forget it, and basically saying that a team full of lions led by a sheep will always be defeated by a team full of sheep led by a lion. So like you said, the head coach is
Dr. Miles Monroe.
Dr. Miles. He's one of the guys that I study.
Dr. Miles.
Dr. Miles is the truth.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
where you
so
put me
That-
on.
that- we
That's
can
where
talk-
you get it from.
We can talk about that another day too. 'Cause I don't know if we want to go down that lane or not, but we all are big on leadership. And when you want to be a leader, or when you're in leadership positions, you have to study the greats. So
Yeah.
you're right. You're right.
Exactly, man. So do you think the hire will create a shift as far as the current narrative with young recruits, believing they receive limited exposure
Mm-hmm.
if they commit to an HBCU?
I think it will. I think we've covered that to a great extent with the notoriety just Dion himself is gonna bring. Everybody's gonna be interested. Like my brother said earlier, Dion talked a lot of smack, but he backed it up. So they want to see if he's gonna be able to back it up this time as a head coach. So the camera's gonna be on at all times. And like you said, Mo Williams over at Alabama State, they're going to be looking to see what he can do, what talent he can bring. So, yeah, I do. I think that these kids are going to garner the cameras coming their way. He's going to get that talent and be able to gather them in such a way to where they're getting big wins against big schools. And those cameras going to have to turn on to the HBCU.
Yeah. I think that'd be big also.
Yeah. We've touched on it a lot, and I don't see no issue with it. I see Jackson State spearheading this thing to the direction of everybody else following, you know, because that's a major hire, a huge hire for that university and that community as a whole, based on the history of, you know, Jackson State and the history of Mississippi and Alabama, Georgia, you know, a lot of the states down south. So to have somebody as prominent as him coming to reside and bring his cachet, so to say, and it's nothing but it's just huge, man. It's because there's so many variables and there's so many things that comes along with just hiring somebody like that, somebody of his stature. So it's just one of them things where it's a domino effect.
I think he has a lot to say to a recruit, though.
Oh yeah.
I think he has a lot to say to a recruit, not just from him. I mean, Jackson State got 4 Hall of Fame, NFL Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You have 4 Hall of Famers from an HBCU. You know, he's being able to sell the exposure as far as if he does get the last chance. You know, you're on Netflix. You'll be on Netflix at that point.
They watch that.
They watch that all the time
anyway.
So he's able to sell that. Like, he's able to sell himself, and you know, he still have all the connection that he had when he was in the NFL.
Exactly.
So the general manager will be coming down and asking him, "Hey, Prime, do you have any ball players?" If he say, "Yeah, I got 2, 3, 4 dollars," they're gonna be there. You know, like if you take pro days, they may show up. 10, 11 people might show up to a pro day if someone else is coaching. If Prime there, every team will go have somebody there.
That's right.
That's what you want as a
See,
kid.
that's it. That's the exposure that these kids will have at Jackson State. And if Mo does well at Alabama State, they'll have that because Mo played in the league. He played with LeBron.
Right.
You know what I mean? He has a championship. He has a world championship ring. So Alabama State will have the same thing. If they do follow the same protocol.
Which I think they will. I think they will. Because I look back, like we all are older now, but imagine, man, as a kid when we were younger, and you got somebody like Dion coming into your house, sitting on your living room couch with you and your family.
He ain't gonna have
Imagine the thoughts going through your head like, man, this is no brainer. You made up your mind already, you know, but you don't want to shoot the gun too soon, but you like
that same mystique Nick Saban has.
Right.
He's gonna have that same
exactly
in HBCU.
Exactly. There's nothing Nick Saban can do for you that Dion can't.
Exactly.
Right.
He's gonna have that same when he comes into your home. He gonna have people lined up down the street like they do Nick Saban.
That's right.
When Prime come out, did you see him? His press conference.
Man, listen.
He had the band and the people dancing and strutting. That's who he is.
Hey, I like when he opened up the jacket. It had JSU on the inside. I said, that's Dion right there. That's prime time.
And
That's prime
they out there playing for him and his wife up there.
Yep.
They up there cutting the rug.
Yep.
Man.
And they slogan, we believe.
Man, listen. That's what you want as a football player, man. You're not uptight. You don't have an uptight coach.
Right.
There you
He's
go.
relaxed.
There you go.
You're relaxed.
Yep.
Exactly.
I'm not worried about if I make a mistake.
Yeah.
His mentality already as a quarterback, I'm gonna play in the next play.
Exactly.
That play over with.
It's over.
So if you put that same mentality in them kids, man, Prime, like I tell people, until Alabama State, get on that bandwagon. He gonna beat their head in.
Oh man.
He gonna beat their head in.
Every season.
I hate to say it.
But even if they do, or even if they don't, It's gonna be so many people there.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a win-win.
Yeah, I mean, it's a win for the community. It's a win for the schools.
But see, that's the game that they have in Mobile, right?
Is it?
I think they play Jackson State in Mobile.
I gotta look at the schedule. I don't know for sure.
If I'm not mistaken, I think we ain't going no Mobile. Y'all coming uphill. I need prime right here. I need all that paper. If I'm not mistaken,
Exactly.
I need all that paper.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which
We ain't going no Mobile.
I don't think.
You're not getting none of that.
Yeah.
You're not getting no more of that. It's over with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was glad when they built the stadium, man, instead of, giving all that money to Crampton Bowl when they were doing it at the time. They
Yeah.
brought the stadium on
Right.
campus, and they did what a lot of other universities have already done. So
Exactly.
I feel like they do it with the Magic City Classic. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
A&M has a stadium, Bama State has a stadium. Why would y'all take the money to Birmingham?
Exactly.
well, that says I like that you brought that up, and because like you said, we as a people, especially by us being brought up the way that we were brought up, if we learn to just look out for one another, man, we'll be so much further ahead. So much further ahead. But that goes into another segue of
We talk about that all the time.
all the time.
We talk about it all the time.
Man, there's nothing y'all are doing. There's no reason why you shouldn't be doing the games at your home stadium.
Right.
But
But that's why you build it.
that's why you built it.
So why would I build something and contract it out to somewhere else?
Exactly.
And like you said,
And I
if
got
you
the
build it,
facilities for
if
it.
you build it, they will come.
Yeah,
And
that's what
right.
they tell you.
You can't even get a cell phone signal right while you down.
Oh man, yeah,
Yeah.
you can't make yeah, you're right.
It's bad, man.
Yeah.
It's bad. But man, we gonna shift gears, shift lanes for a second. And we're gonna talk about the Breonna Taylor situation.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about the grand jury decision to not charge the officers involved in Breonna Taylor's death?
I mean, how I feel goes without saying. To state it quite bluntly, I'm pissed off. But that's the way the system is built. The system is doing what it was designed to do, and that was to oppress black folk.
It wasn't built for us.
It wasn't built for us. You think back, go all the way back to the original policemen. They were slave trappers. So if you got a runaway slave, I'm going to go get your slave back for you. Or if you feel threatened by a certain community, the white folks protect us. So I'm not surprised at all by that decision. You can almost see it coming when they offered up a little paper. You pretty much knew what they was gonna do. So, oh man. Bro, me and you talked about this a little bit on Friday. And what our response would be to it. But all the signs and signals are out there for us to galvanize as a people, to put our differences aside. I know we've been through a lot of trauma over these hundreds of years of oppression, but we got to figure out how to get it together and lean on each other. Because the only time that the other community really wants to deal with us is when they see how much money they can make off of us.
True.
Yep.
So to entertain them, to play on their football fields, to come to their campuses and make money for their D1 schools. Otherwise, you get this. Just another black person dead. Another life that doesn't matter. So, as far as me, I have no faith in the justice system. Like me and you was talking about on Friday. How can we sit back and wait for the justice system to give us justice when you've taken one of my kids, a child that I've raised since birth, and now I'm supposed to be okay with these officers going home to their wives and their kids and things of that nature, but mine 6 feet deep now. All I have is memories. No, bro, I don't think that's gonna sit well with me.
Tough pill to swallow, man.
That's a tough pill to swallow.
Tough pill to swallow, man, and that's like you said, man. Once I saw them boarding up
Oh yeah.
the city, I knew it then.
Oh yeah.
I knew it then, man, because you setting us up for a hard letdown right here, and you're protecting buildings.
Right.
You're protecting buildings. And to charge the officer for shooting in a neighbor's house, for shooting through the wall.
Right.
Like I tell people, man, like, man, you know, I talk to my mom about this, man. I believe in God, true enough, but I also believe in the eye for an eye also.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in the eye for an eye, man. You know, you kill my dog, I'm gonna kill your cat.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
There you go.
That's just the way I was raised, though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was put into me when I was
Mm-hmm.
growing up. But to slap me in my face constantly with the same thing over and over and over and over again, man, as a man, I can't. I'm not gonna allow that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
As a man, I'm not gonna allow that, man. You know,
Exactly.
and that's, you know, and my mom is one of the, I think it's one of the most sweetest people I have ever met, and she's the one. Turn
She
the
is.
other cheek.
She is.
Turn the other cheek. She'll let you slap on her face. Both her cheek be red. You raise that hand like you swinging with me. I'm going up under. I'm scooping you,
You
baby.
didn't get that from her.
I'm scooping you, baby.
You got a lot of great characteristics.
I got a lot of from her, but not that one. Because, man, like, you know, it's just, that's a tough pill to swallow. To say,
Impossible.
you had killed my child for not doing anything, though.
Mm-hmm.
And then for you not to charge these guys. And to me, what this shows, this is finna get worse. To me, I feel it's gonna get worse because they knew they were 100% in the wrong and got away with it.
Mm-hmm.
Just have another officer thinking how he thinks.
Well, I'm gonna touch on it for a second. And if you are a police officer or you're aspiring to be a police officer, and you see everything that's going on in the country right now, a lot of that plays a big part as to why they want to be a part of it. Because people want to be a part of something that they feel as though that's going to protect them. And there's a lot of protection that comes along with wearing that badge. And so when you have the situation with Breonna Taylor, I appreciate the celebrities and the athletes bringing light to the situation because they're using their platform. Because if it wasn't for them, I don't think we would even have the decision that we had.
Exactly.
Because it went so long without them even trying to hold those officers accountable. You know, it wasn't until we kept pressing the issue and people kept speaking her name and celebrities got on board and they were doing the same thing. So I commend them for that because they use that platform for the greater good, which is, you know, something you always want. But the officers that were involved, they only doing what they were supposed to do. And the system, which is like my brother Nick said, is the one that has to be eradicated. Because when you got a system that allows officers to go into a home, whether it was a no-knock warrant or not, and do the things that they did to that young lady, and all of a sudden get to go home to their families, like you said, nothing about that is right, man. If you're a human being, you have morals, nothing about that says that that's okay.
Exactly.
You know, and all of the semantics and all of the small talk about why they did it and were they right. The system is the issue. And until we eradicate the system, all of this is just going to continue to play out in front of our eyes. And like y'all said earlier, the system wasn't designed for us. And I don't know how many more examples we need in order for us to understand that.
Exactly.
You know, it's like we keep giving you the same thing over and over again, and we telling you that it's curing you, but in actuality, it's just making you more sick. But we keep taking the same medicine. Why?
You know, black folks.
Like they say, it's insanity.
Oh yeah. Doing the same
Same
thing
thing,
over and
expecting
over
a
again.
different result.
That's exactly what we're doing, because how many more incidences do we need for us to realize that it ain't for us? But if the shoe is on the other foot and I'm a white person, yes, I want to be a police officer. Yes, I want to, because I see the protection that it offers me.
Exactly.
You know, if you give me a warrant and tell me to go out there and execute it, and I go out there and execute it, and there is no kind of fall back on my behalf or my family's behalf, all I gotta do is put up with the media and people protesting and holding up signs, I'm good.
At the same time, then you at home and you still getting paid.
Still get paid.
Oh, you don't have to.
Administrative leave.
Exactly. You don't have to watch the news. But because it's not affecting you, it's not at your front door.
Mm-hmm.
So
Thank
you
you.
can.
Thank you.
I can deal with that.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not in no type of danger.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No
Because
consequences.
No consequences.
We all know if you don't have any consequences, there's not going to be changed behavior.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, with what altered my life, because what I did, I had the consequences.
There you go.
Right.
And I don't want to suffer those consequences no more, so I can't do this no more.
And as a kid,
You see what I'm saying?
you remember the same consequences that your parents gave you for
Exactly.
doing what you were not supposed to do.
So-
and that's what made us the men that we are right now.
Exactly, man. Like, but we are reprimanded as black men for something, for anything that we do.
Mm-hmm.
We're reprimanded, man, with the harshness and the swiftness,
Mm-hmm.
though. But they are not. Police officers are not.
That's right.
And like you said, that's the system.
That's the system. That I can't fault an individual or a police officer when he's doing what the system was designed for him to do. And I can't, because instead of dealing with the tentacles, deal with the source.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can cut off a tentacle of an octopus, it's gonna grow back. But if you deal with the source, now all of a sudden we deal with real change.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you put it that way, because I was finna say no, I was. You already know I was finna come back.
You always do.
You already
That's why we
know.
love these
That's what I'm
discussions.
saying.
Because we all are individual minds. So
But when you put it, man, you're 100% right, man. You are 100% right. Like if it's the tentacle, you cut it off, it's gonna grow back.
Mhm.
If you remove him, you're gonna get somebody else put into right into his spot,
Mhm.
and the same thing is gonna continue to happen.
Exactly. And we're going to continue to think or believe that the system is going to one day miraculously decide to be in our favor. It wasn't designed that way.
True.
You know, so it's like you got to call it. You got to call it what it is. Space. It is what it is. And a lot of times when we sit up and have these discussions, people think that we are against a certain race of people. No, we're not. We're just speaking the truth.
Exactly.
Right.
And by speaking the truth, a lot of people don't want to have them conversations, and that's why we end up in the situations that we end up in. You gotta have those you gotta shoot them straight between the eyes, because it is what it is.
Man, I say this a lot. A guy, Richard McCants, was telling a guy that I know. He said, man, a lot of guys don't like low. Because one thing about it, you know what you're going to get from it.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be real with you, he's going to be honest with you, and everybody don't like for nobody telling them the truth now.
That's right.
And for y'all that don't know, Low is who? See, we know about all his different aliases, but for the people that
but the
don't,
thing about it, man, if you ask me something, I'm going to give you an honest answer.
y'all already been that way though.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I'm not going to say what you want me to say.
Right.
Like me and him, go ahead.
Of
And
course.
sometimes, I think he get mad at me, be like, man, cuz I don't want to talk to you no more.
Yeah, it ain't even about the man. It's just when you realize the conversation ain't going anywhere, you learn to let it go. You learn to let it
He
go.
be like, cuz look, man, just drop it, man.
Yeah, let's move on.
Man, just drop it.
Oh yeah.
But you know, man, some people just are who they are. But the thing about me is, I'm going to be honest, though. I'm going to be as honest as possible, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And if you don't like that, I'd rather somebody that's beside me be honest with me than to feed me a lie. And I'm gonna go out there and somebody gonna go crash. If I'm feeding you a lie, Nick, yeah. You gonna go out there and hit your head on that wall at some point.
Well, see, that goes back to how we were brought up too, and being brought up in the system that we were brought up in. We as black people were taught that we had to pretend to be something that we're not in order to get to that next level. In order, we had to put on our work voice. We had to have a name that was comfortable. So when they read the name or when they recited the name, it will be a name that they can see, they can envision being part of their company. You know, so it's like we were brought up that way. Like when we get pulled over by the police, they say, "Oh well, you have to listen to the police and you have to do everything that they tell you to do, and you have to." Okay, well, if you're asking me for certain information and I give it to you and I still get shot, what is it that I'm doing wrong?
Exactly.
You know, but we have to talk, keep our hands at 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock when the police pull us over. Why? How come I can't just answer your questions and we engage in dialogue and a conversation and you move on? Why I gotta go these extra steps when other people don't? Because that's the system that we're brought up in. So we're programmed to think that way since birth. Since birth.
And all through school.
Right.
Yeah, all through school.
See, that's the school to prison pipeline.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And me and you talking about this right here. Deep. You know what I'm saying? Like me and you talking about this because you're asking me a little question about prison, but that's your pipeline. Because if you go look at some prisons, they are identical to schools.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're identical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's enough. Man, you can dive into that. Woo!
Yeah, we could.
You can dive into that, and I know both of y'all ready for that.
Oh yeah.
Cause that's what y'all do.
Hey.
That's what y'all do. I like Birdman over there. Like Birdman over there. Y'all ready for this conversation right here?
But shoot, to piggyback off what B said, you know how deeply ingrained this is. I just lost my train of thought that quick. Don't you go talking about the deal. I don't want to hear that old man.
I'm glad we can talk what I'm talking to.
I got it now. This thing's so deeply ingrained. If you look at the comments like Charles Barkley made,
Wow.
and other just common black folks, they make, well, he should have did this, should have did that, and these are the rules you follow, and he shouldn't have shot back, and all this kind of stuff. You know, why is that?
But this is somebody that has never obeyed a police officer when he was in the incident.
Right.
Charles Barkley.
Yes, Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
This is somebody that has never obeyed a command. Like you causing a confusion in the casino, and you owe these people millions of dollars.
Exactly.
That tab that you ran up $1 million, but you in there want to whoop the security guard.
Exactly.
You want to whoop the Las Vegas police.
Mm-hmm.
But you come back and say something ignorant like you said.
Exactly.
Come on, man. Like I told people, like Steven Jackson told me something, he was educated, this and this. He ain't educated. Charles Barkley's not educated. Just because you go to school, that don't mean you fucking educated, bro.
Oh,
right.
Say it a little louder.
Just because you go to school, that don't mean you're educated, bro. And you can't tell me he did his work at all. You can't tell me he went no class at all. No, I don't believe that. You ain't gonna tell me. You ain't finna urinate on me and tell me it's raining. I'm telling me he's educated. Shit, you urinating on me and telling me it's man, ain't no way no hell Charles Barkley educated.
But I'm gonna tell you with Charles Barkley, man, that's his position on the show. His position on the show is to be the devil's advocate. And he does a great job of that. Yeah. He's gonna stir up the pot. And everybody knows that in order to get the good stuff at the pot, you gotta go down at the bottom. And that's what he does. He digs down deep and he hits people right where they wanna be hit so they can continue to keep those views going. And I understand that. That's why I don't feed into it. And that goes back to when you understand and you see the bigger picture and a lot of things, you're able to make choices that you probably wouldn't have made had you not seen the bigger picture. So I understand his position on the show. And it's a lot of shows out there like that, where they have people put into place just to get us emotionally charged. True. And Charles Barkley does a great job of that. If you look at his profile of being a broadcaster, that's exactly what he does. Exactly. And that's why he has his position. So I don't give him a lot of my energy, man, because I understand he has a job to do. Now, on a personal level, no, I will never fool with him, but I understand why he's doing it. It's marketing. True.
And that's what you, and that's something you have taught me, just by you, man, you talking because you have taught me that like over the last couple of months, 6, 8 years, that's what you have taught me. Man, look, you can't give these people your energy. You got to understand what these people are doing. got to understand marketing. You got to understand when somebody's being sincere. These people ain't being no sincere because they want you to come look at this show because that's what they want you to do.
Right.
They want you to come back and
tweet about it.
Yeah.
Talk about it on your podcast. All you're doing is giving them the ratings that they want, which
Exactly.
it makes a lot of sense. And that's business, you know. If I owned a business that relied on viewership, yes, I would do the same thing. You know, because you're not doing when a lot of this is where a lot of people mess up at. They take their personal feelings and they bring it into business. Business and personal should be always be separated. You know, but when you bring your personal feelings into business, that's why a lot of times you're not as successful as a lot of other people because you're not looking at it from a standpoint of people get into business to make money. I don't care what they tell you. That's why people get involved in business. And the more money you make, they feel as though the more successful they are.
Yeah.
So you getting your feelings involved into something that's strictly monetary thing.
the person that does it the most and does it the best, you have showed me. 50 Cent.
50 Cent.
Oh yeah.
50 Cent.
Yeah.
His feelings are never in there, nothing.
Right.
It's always that bottom line.
Always the bottom line. That's it.
Always.
You have shown me that with him. You know, I used to love 50. But I'm like, man, why you doing this crazy stuff, man? I can't be liking nobody that doing all this crazy stuff, man. No, man. I love the streets. Cuz he's doing it because of this, cuz.
Right.
Cuz he's doing it. And that's what I'm saying. You have taught me that. Over what? It's probably about a year, man. You going back and forth about that.
Right.
And now I totally understand it. Sometimes he still do get me though. I mean, come on, 50, man, don't do that, man. Come on, man, stop that, man. You know what I mean? And that's all he do right there. I send him to him. If I send him something, he send back and laugh. Like, bro, you can't keep doing it right here, man.
You can't keep defending that guy.
You can't keep doing what I'm saying, man. You can't keep, man, I'm freaking tripping right now, bro. What are you doing? Cuz he's still mocking me, cuz. This is what he do. I'm like, man, I'm so tired of 50. Like,
Stay irrelevant.
Christ. Come on, man. But I understand it now, though.
Right.
I understand it, man. Last question, man. Do you feel her family's decision to accept the $12 million settlement played a role in the decision that they got? Why or why not?
I'll take it. I'll take this one first.
Go ahead.
I don't know too much about their family's financial situation, but I'm just going to speak from a personal opinion here. I don't have $12 million in my account. And the system knows that I don't have $12 million in my account because they got access to it.
That's right.
So if I'm being offered $12 million to change my financial situation, and I wouldn't say forget about, but don't press the issue anymore when it comes down to losing a loved one, I can understand why they made that decision. I'm not telling you I would make that decision in that particular instance, but I can understand why they did. Because you have to understand something. It's just like with kids, we were speaking earlier, going off to college. A lot of them are positioning themselves or trying to position themselves so that they can take care of their family later on down the line because they're coming up in broken homes, single parent homes. They're dealing with things on a personal level that a lot of us may not know about. So that's why a lot of them do decide to get into sports because they feel as though that's a gateway to go back and change their family's financial situation. So if a system decides that they want to pay you quote unquote hush money and the family accepts it, I can understand why they did that. I'm not saying that it's right or it's wrong, but I am going to say if their situation becomes better by them accepting that money and they feel as though that's why they did it, I can understand.
Because you can look at it two ways. To me, you can look at it that way, and you can look at it them coming to them. It don't matter what we do. She can't be brought back.
Exactly.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No amount of money.
No amount of money that is given or you're awarded that she's gonna be brought back. But let us give you something to better your life in a situation. In this situation. That's the way I looked at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because you got to think with the money comes a different lifestyle that they probably aren't accustomed to living. You know, and we all have jobs, and that's why we go to work, is to get more money. We don't go to work just to give them free labor. That would be considered a slave again, right?
Right.
So we go to work to make money because money is the end goal. So if I'm giving you the end goal to help you cope with the fact that we just killed your loved one or your relative, to them, that pill that was a big pill to swallow probably ain't that big no more. You know?
And you know, man, like they say, when a loved one is killed, man, you're not gonna be in front of no camera just talking calmly, this, and this. We was talking about that, man, and I'm looking at her family, and I'm like, the day they was talking about the verdict was coming and this, and and my mom gonna be able to act a fool.
That's right.
I know she's reserved, she cool, she come, but I know she gonna act a fool. You know what I'm saying about that. And I know everybody's not the same, and I understand it, man. Like, she's not gonna be brought back anyway. It is nothing that the police will be able to do to bring her back. So they're getting a settlement on it, and which is, I think 12 million is not enough.
Right.
Because they have another situation where the white person was killed.
That's right.
They gave her 45 million.
That's the
Exactly.
system.
They gave her 45 million.
That's the system.
You give her 45 million, but you give
Just the
Breonna
top
Taylor's,
went to jail.
yeah, and the cop went to jail. It was a black guy.
Yeah, black guy.
But you gave them 45 million, you gave 12 million, and these cops get off. They're able to go home, hug, kiss their wife, hug their children. They're still able to go to soccer games, hockey games, baseball games. But Breonna Taylor will not be able to do that for her child.
Right.
Like we say, man, there's no.
I think the decision was already made. The money
Long time
didn't.
ago.
Yeah, the money didn't play a part in that. I think, like B said, you know, that 12 million was hush money. You know, they knew they was gonna let these cops off. Decision made. Okay, here your money. Let's board up downtown and get ready for the aftermath, and we'll move on after a couple of months.
Because everybody knows once you distract them by giving them entertainment, all of a sudden
It goes away.
it goes away. And all of a sudden it's on to something else. That's why sports being allowed to play, due to the fact that, you know, we were involved in the pandemic. The reason why sports was so important to be aired on television is to distract people. And by distracting people now, you don't have that same intensity that you were dealing with before sports became televised on TV again. So
it was all coronavirus. Then George Floyd happened, and he hear nothing about coronavirus. Then that died out. Here come coronavirus again.
Give you a numbing mechanism.
that Novocaine.
If you don't like that, you need some Novocaine when it's time. You know what I'm talking about?
That don't mean it ain't gonna
You know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? If you're in the bone, you better go get some Novocaine at some point, baby. You know what I'm talking about? If you're in the bone, you better go get some Novocaine at some point, baby. But that's if you look, man. Balance that saying this man, you think about this man. That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm gonna inject this Novocaine into y'all. Like you said, in a few months. Once it's over, we good.
Yep.
We off. We ain't got to worry about it. Man, we off the hook. Ain't nobody going to prison.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? We able to, the guys back at work.
Right.
You know, and like the other 2 cops, or 3 cops, they haven't been charged nothing, so they still working.
Right.
The one that they charged, he's not gonna get found guilty of that crap. He ain't gonna get found guilty of shooting nobody wall, because you ain't did nothing about this, so how can you find him guilty for that?
Right.
So he gonna get off that little bit, and he gonna go back to work.
That's right to work.
Patrolling the streets with his chest puffed up, and he might do it again.
Do the same thing.
Feeling empowered that he yeah. And that's what I'm saying, man. So it's a lot of protection, and it's a powerful. I won't even say. I'm gonna just say this. It's called local terrorism. You know, we always look for the terrorists abroad, but they're terrorists roaming the streets with badges on all day, every day.
Oh yeah.
And that system protects them. So you have to say to yourself, why are we going abroad to fight something that we're not even fighting here in our own backyard? So.
Exactly.
Shit, I know y'all remember the jump out boys back when we was small.
Yeah.
You know, I remember them vividly. You know, leaving the park, me and my boy playing basketball, man. Here come that black truck. Them two boys hanging out the back. They stopped that truck, looked at us, we looked at them. Then my boy looked at each other. And they right after. You get caught, you catch that beat down.
Now let me ask you this since you brought that up. Why do we have that fear of the police force when we see them? Meaning, like you said, when you were little, as soon as you saw them, first thing, your first instincts are to run. Mm-hmm. Why do we have that? Why do we experience that?
Because we know they're not to serve and protect, whatever they
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because we were like that.
Yep.
When I was growing up in the project, that's what every time you seen them, you dip.
Yeah.
You're a little kid, so you're not selling drugs, you're not doing anything you ain't supposed to be doing, but when you see them,
that's right. Time to go.
And we dig it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So just imagine you get pulled over and you got guns drawn on you. How you gonna react? Because they're not pulling you over conversing with you.
Right.
They had their guns drawn before they even ask you 2 or 3 questions.
Right here, ready.
So you gotta say to yourself, man, that kind of trauma that we're brought up in as black people, that's something that we carry on for life, man. And we're not doing anything about it. We're not seeking counsel.
Nope.
Because we don't know. We're dealing with it the best way we know how.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we've learned to cope with it, and we have to turn around and be successful citizens in society. And it's like to see that on a constant basis, to be bombarded with that from TV, social media, us being killed by people that were supposed to serve and protect us. It gets old, man. It gets real old.
Right, fast too. You know?
Right.
But you go and self-medicate. You know, like you said, man. That's a deep trauma too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's a deep trauma.
Because the Novocaine doesn't cure it.
Right.
It just numbs it.
It just numbs it.
And that's what people do with drug abuse, alcoholism, all that. That's just their Novocaine. Get through the day. You know, my dissertation is about that myself, dealing with adverse childhood experiences, which is trauma, and the effects on student outcomes as far as them graduating high school and things of that nature. And, you know, digging into that trauma aspect, man, it's deep. Looking at different researchers who looked at that stuff, man, and just the effects that it has on your brain or adolescent's brain as they're coming up. It's amazing that black people are sitting in the positions that we're sitting in today after everything that we go through, that kind of resilience.
Exactly.
I mean, the example was given that, you know, you may have this white person sitting here, they may watch 9/11 2,000 miles away on television, but they traumatized from it just from seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens to this child that's going through that trauma each and every day? Each and every day. Each and every day. You're in that flight or fight response all day, every day. And you know, that's something that I'm trying to teach my teachers on how to deal with as far as our kids go through a lot of trauma and they're in that flight or fight response all the time. And it could be something that we're doing as educators that triggers them to do the stuff that they do in the classroom.
When you say that, man, listen. When I was an educator, that was my job.
Mm-hmm.
Because my principal knew my background from my interview.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I taught at a alternative school.
Mm-hmm.
He knew you can handle it.
Right.
Especially if it was a male.
Mm-hmm.
He'll call me out of my class. I taught science. Coach Harris, we need you.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Brown, I'm in the middle of my lesson. I'm gonna send somebody down there to finish the class and tell them what they're doing. Show them your lesson plan. I need you. That's the way it was.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because he knew my background.
Mm-hmm.
But you ain't got many teachers that can do that.
Right.
nowadays.
Right.
Because they're so far unattached from reality of what these kids actually going through though.
Oh yeah.
But when you got somebody that can do that, you're gonna have an effective teacher.
Well, and that's the thing. People look at teachers because they put into leadership positions, but that doesn't make them a leader.
Right.
You know, and so when you are in that leadership position, you're expected to lead, but that doesn't mean you know how.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like when people like you all go and get into those positions, you all become successful, it's because you all are already leaders prior to that. You know, and a leader is somebody that you can put them in any situation, they're going to thrive.
Right.
You know, that's why they called on you. That's why I get those same phone calls from my general manager wanting me to go talk to certain people. And I'm saying to myself, if you want me to do it, and I don't mind doing it because I love giving back.
Right.
But at the same token, I changed my mindset and said, B, that's a compliment because he knows you can handle it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so anytime a lot of responsibility is being placed on a person, that responsibility is being placed on you because they know that you can handle it. And you've proven time and time again that you're going to always come out on top, just like the Phoenix. So, yeah, when I'm in situations where I'm called upon, I look at it as a compliment because I know everybody ain't getting this phone call. Everybody ain't
giving, much as
exactly. Everybody ain't getting asked to come in and do this. So I look forward to it. I embrace it. So that's the leadership of.
We were brought up like that.
Yeah.
I don't know many. I'm just speaking from our family. I don't know many of us that's not leaders.
Yeah.
Because we were brought up like that.
And not only that, leaders associate with leaders.
Exactly.
Because a lot of people that would love to associate with us or love to be around us, and we don't fool with them.
Right.
We stiff on them.
But I, and I equate that to alphas. And I tell people all the time, man, I don't want to be around nothing but an alpha. Because if you ain't an alpha, you're going to get intimidated.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
By me.
Mm-hmm.
That's strong, man.
You see what I'm saying? You're gonna get intimidated by me because, hey man, like they tell you, if you walk into a room, man, you're gonna automatically get the attention as an alpha male.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You might be in a room with other alphas. If you're an alpha, you're not gonna get intimidated and walk out the room because there's other alphas in there.
Mm-hmm.
Man, listen, an alpha is gonna adapt. And I'm not, that's just the way it is.
True. True.
So, man, listen, I can talk to y'all guys all day about all this, but we got to come back and do another show with you two. I got to.
Both of them.
I got
Appreciate it, man.
to,
This is
man.
that.
I really
Oh, yeah.
appreciate you guys, man. From your expertise, from what you do, how you look at things, because y'all open up my eyes to things that I may look at narrowly. Y'all open it up to some broader. I appreciate you guys, man. I really do,
We
man.
appreciate you, man. We appreciate you because your intensity is contagious as well. So
Oh yeah.
we know Low, when he full steam ahead, he full steam ahead. It ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It ain't, he got blinders on. And I'll take me a point given, using a Kentucky Derby analogy, I'll take me a point given, which is a horse that handle business. I'll take me one of those in the day, a thoroughbred. So, yeah, man, we appreciate you.
Yeah, man.
We talk all the time outside of this, so this is we can do this like you said.
All
we can do
day.
this all day.
We can do this all day, man. You know what I mean? Those topics we talk about anyway, so just wanted to come and put it on the podcast, man. There's many more to come though too.
Iron sharpens iron.
They say
All day.
one man to another.
All day.
But man, we appreciate y'all, man. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment, man. Give us some feedback of what you think, man, about the podcast from Mr. Britton Harvest and Mr. Nick Townsend.
Your favorite speaker.
Britton Harvest,
Yeah,
your favorite speaker.
what you did say, man, you gotta throw the hashtags. Hashtag breadcrumbs, hashtag random acts of kindness, RAK, hashtag rack motivation. And for the people that don't know, breadcrumbs is me always trying to give back knowledge, dropping breadcrumbs, dropping jewels. So the people that may not get it along the way, later on down the line, they'll have a trail to follow so that they can in turn become who they're supposed to become. Random acts of kindness, self-explanatory, always giving back, always trying to put smiles on people's faces because if I'm in a situation to make your life a little better, that's what I plan on doing. That's what we all do. So that's what it's all about.
That's it.
True.
That's it.
All right, man. Thank you.